All right, so that gives you the 8 criteria. We've laid all these criteria out, and people are I'm sure now wondering, okay, well, what is the big strategy? Well, the name that we have given this strategy is magnetic media, or more specifically, the strategic syndication of magnetic media. So those of you that were guessing, oh, well, it's podcasting. We know you guys have been podcasting for a while. You had a part of the story, but I kept saying, well, that's not the answer, because if people think that our marketing strategy is all about podcasting and tried to mimic that, then they're definitely going to be missing a piece of the puzzle. It's understanding the more fundamental base of this strategy that makes it work, and which is why, years ago when podcasters would say, "How do I make money? How do I make money?" I'd say, "Well, stop being a podcaster. You need to be a media creator. You need to be a business, and podcasting is just one channel. It's just one way to syndicate that stuff." So let's walk through the different pieces, because those words are very specifically chosen. Strategic syndication of magnetic media. Let's talk about each of those words, because that'll lay out a little bit better what it is that we mean here. A strategic, obviously, because it's that high leverage, get big results out of a small investment of time and money. You're not just doing something because everyone else says that you need to do it. You're not just doing the flavor of the week. You're not just doing Twitter because it seems everyone else is. It's about providing a purpose behind the way you deliver value to the world and to your market. And ultimately, that's what we're trying to do, is get whatever it is that you have a value to offer to that ideal market, so that an exchange can take place, and that's where everyone's happy and money will be made amply. I mean, there's lots of money to be made out there when you can match that up right. So that's why we're saying it's strategic. It's high leverage, it's focused, and it's specific in the way that you do it and in the way that you syndicate it. So media, let's jump down and talk about media. So strategic, let's talk and jump to the word media, because that's the crux of this whole thing. That's the core of this whole thing. Before you can get influence, build up influence in a relationship with people, before you can engage with them over time, you got to get their attention so that they opt in and give you permission to engage with them. And the best way to get the attention of others is by creating value that they just can't live without. And one of the best ways that we know to do that is to create incredibly valuable media that your market gets in the habit of consuming over and over again. And in consuming that media, they start to look at you as a trusted advisor, as a trusted source, and that influence account builds up with over time. And because it takes that time and frequent engagement, it has to happen frequently, which is why we produce a show, something that comes out on a regular basis. So this is offering value through media, and the internet is just the perfect way to deliver that, because you can get such wide distribution, you can get such targeted distribution, and you can do it for cheap. You can do it for next to nothing. Obviously, if you go and try to get a show on the radio, it takes a lot more resources to do that. If you try and go produce a TV commercial or a radio spot or an ad for TV or even a show for TV, it takes a lot more money. But now these days, anybody can get on the internet and create media and strategically syndicate it for very low cost. So that's why the internet is the format, the medium that we're using to deliver our content through. Now, magnetic, it's because it attracts the traffic like crazy. When you strategically syndicate this in the right ways and get it in front of the right people, it's going to attract traffic like crazy. It's going to bring people towards you. And if there's something that I've learned in business, one of the things I learned early on is that marketing is a lot more powerful. Your business goes a lot more smoothly when people come to you, rather than you always going after them or chasing them down. It's becoming that trusted advisor, that welcome guest, rather than the salesy pest or the annoying marketer. It's becoming that strategically placed person that people come towards you, because when they come towards you, there's no you don't have to sit there and twist their arms and convince them. You don't have to fall into that trap of manipulation. You don't have to spend as much energy and time. You end up working with the people that you actually love working with. And, that's true whether it's for customers or strategic partners or whatever. When people come towards you, your life is a lot easier. So that's why we call it magnetic media, because it's the attraction of traffic. It's not driving traffic. It's not chasing down of prospects. It's the attraction towards you of those people, which to me just makes a lot more sense, is a lot easier and a lot more fun, if I can say that too. So the last piece is syndication. And Sterling, how about you tell us a bit about that?
Well, the great thing about time with the way that we do our syndication is, so we'll give you an example of this show right now. Let's say the show ends up being 45 minutes. So it actually took us 45 minutes of speaking and recording, and then it takes about a half hour or so on either end of it. So on the pre-production side of outlining the show and picking the topic and stuff, let's say it takes about a half an hour. Well, does it take a half hour or an hour? About a half hour to prep the show. And then on the back end, it takes about a half an hour or so for the post-production of getting everything set up to go to the editor and the virtual assistants and stuff that handle absolutely everything else. So the time it takes for Jay and I to do a show, let's just say, is 2 hours for an episode.
Yep.
Now, we don't put it up on the blog. We don't edit it. We don't put it on iTunes or any of that stuff. It actually goes to our team to do that. Now, here's the awesome thing about it. That one piece of content becomes every kind of media. So here's what happens. That this particular podcast then gets made into a video with just a title card into YouTube. Yeah, and once we do the video show, then obviously that will be set the same way. Well, we'll do the video, and then it'll be turned into the podcast as well, just the audio side. But right now, it gets turned into a video. The feature segment, the part that we're speaking right now, gets written into an article and explodes into the article marketing world. So we get all of that. The video, the audio, the articles, all that stuff gets put through all the, what are they called? Like Dig and social networks, I guess.
Social bookmarking.
Social bookmarking. It goes out to all of those, and the show also gets transcribed. So every word we're saying will get, crawled by Google because we put it on the website. So one tiny piece of content goes everywhere. And that is like a really main key to keeping this really quick. Like, we're not writing the articles. We're just speaking. And then somebody goes through and makes it into the article for us. So the thing, and for us, just sitting here speaking it, so we outline the show, then we speak the show, and then we don't see anything more about it. We just get all of the benefit in traffic attraction because of one piece of media. And this is why it doesn't take long at all, because most people think, I've got to write all this content, I've got to write all these articles, blog posts, all that kind of stuff. And it does not have to be that way if that's not what you like. Now, if you like writing, you could do it that way. For instance, one other person that I worked with for a while, his name's Andrew, he actually was really good at writing blog posts and articles and stuff. And then I would have him actually record that article into a podcast, and then we'd have his VA turn that into a video with a bunch of different pictures that would come up based on what he was saying. It's the whole key is, that's the whole strategic and syndication part of this, is being strategic not only with how you use your media, but with your time. So it doesn't have to take a long time. Did I get it all?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so it's about getting, again, big results out of a little bit of effort. And the awesome thing is not only is this attracting traffic, it's building relationships with the people you've already attracted. It's keeping in touch with them so that they become repeat customers, so they stick around. If they're not ready to buy now, maybe they're ready to buy later. And all we're doing is getting on the microphone or writing a blog post or getting in front of a video camera, whatever works best for you, and talking to our friends, you, the listener, about the things that we're most passionate about, in which in this case, that's internet business and entrepreneurship and lifestyle design and things that really matter to us and to you. That's why you're here listening to this. So that's why this is, it's fun, it's relatively easy, it's low cost, and it's incredibly effective. And the reason why we start every business out with that strategy is because it has always worked. It will always work. And no matter what the flavor of day is, no matter what channel comes to go, whether Facebook and Twitter are big and they're big channels to put your content through, or even if they disappear tomorrow, that's okay. You've got all this content and you just start syndicating in whatever channels are most appropriate for you and your audience and your content.
And you bring in the new things into your already designed syndication. So for instance, when our show goes up, a Twitter post goes out.